Part 1. New Girl in Town. The morning sunlight filtered through the dusty windows of the modest apartment as Eliza Mitchell folded the last of her clothes into a worn dresser drawer, her slender fingers with their neatly trimmed nails smoothed over a wrinkled t-shirt, trying to make the best of what little she had. 17 years old with chestnut brown hair that cascaded past her shoulders, warm hazel eyes and a kind smile. Eliza was beautiful in an understated way that didn't demand attention. "Eliza, we need to leave in 10 minutes. Her mother's voice called from the kitchen. "Coming, Mom," she replied, taking one last look at her simple outfit in the mirror. Jeans from the thrift store, a plain blue blouse, and sneakers that had seen better days. With her two arms wrapped around her middle in a self-conscious hug, she sighed. Starting at a new school was always difficult, but Westlake Academy would be especially challenging. Her mother, Victoria Mitchell, stood in the kitchen preparing coffee in a travel mug. At 42, Victoria carried herself with quiet authority, her dark hair pulled back in a professional bun, her brown eyes sharp behind stylish glasses, and her posture impeccable in a tailored suit. "Remember our agreement," Victoria said, handing Eliza a brown paper lunch bag. "At school, I'm Principal Mitchell, not Mom." Eliza nodded. "I know. You want me to have a normal experience. And you don't need the pressure of being the principal's daughter," Victoria added, placing her hands with their 5 fingers on each of Eliza's shoulders. "This is your chance to just be yourself." The drive to Westlake Academy was short, but marked the vast distance between their modest apartment complex and the affluent neighborhood surrounding the school. Towering oak trees lined the entrance to the prestigious private school where Victoria had recently been appointed principal, a surprising choice given her background in public education, but her exceptional credentials had won over the board. "I'll get out here," Eliza said as they approached the side entrance. "See you later." "Principal Mitchell," Victoria smiled. "Have a good first day." Walking toward the main building, Eliza's eyes widened at the sprawling campus. Students milled about in designer clothes, carrying expensive bags and the latest phones. Her second-hand backpack suddenly felt like a neon sign announcing her difference. "Watch where you're going," came a sharp voice as Eliza accidentally bumped into someone. "I'm sorry," Eliza stammered, looking up to see a girl with perfect blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and a scowl that could freeze fire. Dressed in a trendy outfit that probably cost more than Eliza's entire wardrobe, she was flanked by 2 equally polished girls. "You're new?" the blonde stated rather than asked, her eyes scanning Eliza from head to toe, taking in her simple clothes and worn shoes. Her lips curled into a smirk. "Let me guess. Scholarship case?" Eliza's cheeks flushed. "I'm Eliza Mitchell. I just moved here." "Cassandra Winters," the girl replied with a toss of her golden hair. "And this is Madison and Olivia." The 2 girls behind her smiled with false sweetness. "Word of advice, Mitchell. Westlake has standards. Not everyone belongs." As they walked away laughing, Eliza's heart sank. Just then she felt someone stop beside her. "Don't mind the Ice Queen and her minions," a friendly male voice said. "They treat everyone that way." Eliza turned to see a boy with warm brown eyes, dark curly hair, and an easy smile. His tan fingers held a sketchbook, and a camera hung around his neck. "I'm Lucas Rivera," he said, extending one of his hands with its 5 fingers toward her. "Welcome to Westlake, land of the privileged and home of the pretentious." For the first time that day, Eliza smiled. Maybe Westlake wouldn't be so terrible after all. The humiliation. 2 weeks into the semester, Eliza had settled into a routine at Westlake Academy. She'd found a quiet corner in the library where she spent most lunch periods, avoiding the cafeteria where Cassandra Winters held court. Her fingers, all 10 of them, had grown accustomed to the new textbooks, and her legs carried her swiftly through hallways to avoid confrontation. But today, Lucas Rivera waited by her locker, his warm brown eyes lighting up when he saw her. "Hiding again?" he asked, his sketchbook tucked under one arm. Eliza shrugged. "It's easier that way." "Not today," Lucas said, his right hand with its 5 fingers gently touching her shoulder. "You can't hide forever. Sit with me at lunch." Against her better judgment, Eliza agreed. The cafeteria buzzed with energy as they entered, Lucas guiding her toward a table near the window. From across the room, Cassandra watched, her blue eyes narrowing as she observed Lucas's attentiveness toward the new girl. "What's your story?" Lucas asked as they ate. "You're not like most Westlake students." "My mom and I move around a lot. Eliza replied, careful not to reveal too much. This is just another stop. Lucas studied her face. I don't think so. There's something different about you, Eliza Mitchell. Their conversation was interrupted when Cassandra approached, Madison and Olivia flanking her like designer bookends. Lucas, there you are, Cassandra said sweetly, ignoring Eliza completely. We're finalizing plans for my birthday party this weekend. You're coming, right? I haven't decided, Lucas replied, his discomfort evident. Cassandra's smile faltered before she finally acknowledged Eliza. Oh, you're still here. Enjoying our charity case, Lucas? Eliza stiffened. I'm not a charity case. No? Cassandra's voice rose, drawing attention from nearby tables. That's not what I heard. Principal Mitchell must be really scraping the bottom of the barrel with the scholarship fund this year. Lucas stood up. That's enough, Cassandra. What are you wearing anyway? Cassandra continued, her perfectly manicured hands with their 5 slender fingers reaching out to touch Eliza's thrift store blouse. Did Goodwill have a fire sale? The cafeteria had grown quiet, all eyes on them. Eliza's face burned with humiliation. At least I don't have to buy my friends, Eliza murmured, instantly regretting the words. Cassandra's eyes widened, then narrowed dangerously. With deliberate slowness, she picked up her smoothie and tipped it over Eliza's lap, the cold purple liquid seeping into her only pair of decent jeans. Oops, Cassandra said with mock innocence. Clumsy me. The cafeteria erupted in laughter. Eliza stood frozen, purple liquid dripping down her legs onto her shoes. From the doorway, Principal Mitchell witnessed the scene, her face a mask of professional composure despite the fury in her eyes at seeing her daughter humiliated. Lucas grabbed napkins, his fingers working quickly to help clean up the mess. I'm sorry, he whispered. She's the worst. Eliza blinked back tears, aware of Principal Mitchell's presence but also her promise not to intervene. Their eyes met briefly across the room, mother and daughter, before Eliza turned away, embarrassed. Later, in the art room where Lucas had taken her to escape, Eliza finally let the tears fall. Why does she hate me so much? She asked, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Lucas sat beside her, his legs stretched out in front of him. Cassandra hates anyone she can't control. But mostly, I think she sees something in you that threatens her. What could I possibly have that threatens Cassandra Winters? Lucas smiled, his fingers gently brushing away a tear from her cheek. Authenticity, something she'll never have with all her money and power. In that moment, with his warm eyes focused solely on her, Eliza felt something shift between them, something that made the humiliation almost worth it. Part 3. Secret Connections. The art classroom became Eliza and Lucas's sanctuary over the following weeks. Her hands, with their 10 nimble fingers, learned to hold charcoal and brushes under his patient guidance. Though she lacked his natural talent, she enjoyed watching him work, his strong arms and steady hands bringing images to life on paper. You're staring, Lucas teased one afternoon. Looking up from his sketchbook, Eliza blushed. I'm observing an artist at work. There's a difference. Is that what you're doing? He moved closer, their shoulders touching. What do you observe? Someone who sees the world differently, she answered softly. Someone who sees me. Their eyes met, and for a breathless moment, Eliza thought he might kiss her. Instead, Ms. Harmon, the art teacher, interrupted with exciting news. Congratulations, Eliza, she announced. Your essay on modern art movements has been selected as Westlake's entry for the state competition. You'll be representing us alongside Lucas's photography portfolio. Eliza blinked in surprise. But I just transferred here. Surely someone else, talent is talent, Ms. Harmon said firmly. The selection committee was quite impressed. Principal Mitchell herself commented on your unique perspective. Across campus in her office, Victoria Mitchell was having a difficult conversation with the school board chairman. Your daughter has certainly adjusted well, Mr. Rothwell remarked casually, though keeping your relationship quiet seems unnecessary. Victoria's hands tensed around her coffee mug. How did you? Background checks are thorough, Victoria. Don't worry, your secret is safe, though I question the wisdom of hiding it. Eliza wanted a chance to be normal, Victoria explained, not the principal's daughter. Meanwhile, Cassandra seethed after learning about Eliza's selection for the art competition. Standing in the girls' bathroom, her eyes red from angry tears, she stared at her reflection. She's taking everything, Cassandra hissed to Madison and Olivia. First Lucas, now this. What are you going to do? Madison asked, reapplying lip gloss. Part 4. The Fall. The annual Fall Showcase was Westlake Academy's most prestigious event, where students presented their best work before parents, alumni, and college recruiters. This year, Eliza's essay and Lucas's photography would be featured prominently. In the days leading up to the event, Cassandra had been unusually quiet, which made Eliza nervous. Her eyes constantly scanned hallways for the blonde queen bee, and her hands with their 10 fingers often trembled slightly with anxiety. "You're being paranoid," Lucas assured her, his strong arms pulling her close in the empty art room. "What can she possibly do?" Eliza melted into his embrace, her face nestled against his chest. "You don't know Cassandra like I do. She's planning something." Lucas kissed the top of her head. "Let her try. We'll face it together." The night of the showcase arrived, and the school transformed into an elegant gallery. Eliza wore her best dress, a simple blue number her mother had splurged on for the occasion. Principal Mitchell maintained her professional distance, though her proud smile when passing Eliza's display betrayed her maternal affection. "Your work is remarkable," Mr. Rothwell commented to Eliza. "You must have excellent guidance at home." Before Eliza could respond, Cassandra appeared, looking stunning in an expensive red dress. "Mr. Rothwell, I'd like to make an announcement before the judges announce their decisions. Something the whole school should hear." Eliza's stomach dropped as Cassandra took the stage, tapping the microphone. The room fell silent. "Westlake Academy prides itself on integrity and honesty," Cassandra began, her voice sickly sweet. "Which is why I feel obligated to share something I've discovered about our newest student, Eliza Mitchell." Lucas moved protectively to Eliza's side, his hand finding hers. "Eliza has been deceiving all of us," Cassandra continued. "She pretends to be this humble scholarship student, but the truth is what, Ms. Winters?" Principal Mitchell's voice cut through the room as she stepped forward, her eyes steely. Cassandra faltered momentarily before regaining her composure. "The truth is she's your daughter. She's been hiding it to get special treatment." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Principal Mitchell approached the stage with calm dignity, taking the microphone. "Yes, Eliza Mitchell is my daughter," she acknowledged, her voice firm. "We chose not to publicize our relationship to avoid exactly this kind of situation. The essay selected for this showcase was judged anonymously, as were all submissions. If anything, I've been harder on Eliza than on any other student." Cassandra's triumphant smile faded as she realized her revelation had backfired completely. Parents and faculty members looked not at Eliza with suspicion, but at Cassandra with disappointment. Furthermore, Principal Mitchell continued, "Using this platform to attempt to humiliate another student demonstrates a profound lack of character. Ms. Winters, please see me in my office on Monday morning." The crowd dispersed, leaving Cassandra standing alone on stage, her face flushed with mortification. For the first time, she was the one being judged, her legs barely supporting her as she stumbled down the steps. Later that night, as Lucas drove Eliza home, he couldn't stop laughing. "The look on her face," he said, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "I wish I'd captured it for my portfolio." Eliza smiled, though part of her felt sorry for Cassandra. She thought she was exposing my shameful secret, but being Principal Mitchell's daughter isn't something I'm ashamed of. Lucas parked outside her apartment building, turning to face her. "No more secrets between us, then?" "No more secrets," she agreed as his lips found hers in the darkness, his arms pulling her close across the center console, their hearts beating in perfect rhythm. Part 5. Redemption and Renewal. The Monday after the showcase, Westlake Academy buzzed with gossip. Eliza and her mother arrived together, no longer pretending they weren't related. Victoria's arm draped around her daughter's shoulders as they walked through the main entrance. "Ready?" Victoria asked, her brown eyes warm behind her glasses. Eliza nodded, squeezing her mother's hand briefly before they parted ways. The principal to her office, the student to her locker. The whispers followed Eliza down the hallway, but they weren't unkind. If anything, students seemed impressed that she'd managed to keep such a secret. At her locker, Lucas waited, his face lighting up at the sight of her. "Good morning, principal's daughter," he teased, his arms wrapping around her waist as he stole a quick kiss. "Stop," she laughed, her hands with their 10 fingers playfully pushing against his chest. Across the hallway, Cassandra stood alone at her locker, her usual entourage noticeably absent. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her normally perfect appearance slightly disheveled. When another student bumped into her without apologizing, she seemed to shrink further into herself. Later that day, Eliza found Cassandra sitting alone in the bathroom, silently crying. "Here to gloat?" Cassandra asked, quickly wiping her eyes. Eliza shook her head, surprising herself by sitting beside the girl who had tormented her. "Actually, I wanted to check on you." Cassandra looked up in disbelief. "Why would you care?" "Because I know what it's like to be alone," Eliza replied simply. "Madison and Olivia aren't speaking to you." "They've moved on to the next queen bee," Cassandra said bitterly. "Turns out they were never really my friends." Eliza nodded. "Real friends stand by you even when you're not on top." The two sat in silence for a moment, an unexpected understanding forming between them. "I'm sorry," Cassandra finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "For everything." In Principal Mitchell's office, Cassandra faced the consequences of her actions with surprising dignity. "I accept whatever punishment you think is appropriate, Principal Mitchell." Victoria studied the girl before her. "Instead of suspension, I'm assigning you to work with Ms. Harmon on the upcoming charity art auction. I believe you have organizational skills that could be valuable, if directed properly." Over the following weeks, a transformation began. Cassandra, stripped of her mean girl status, discovered talent she'd never explored. Working alongside Eliza and Lucas on the charity auction, she revealed a sharp business mind and genuine creativity. One afternoon, Lucas found Eliza and Cassandra laughing together in the art room, their heads bent over auction catalogs. "Well, this is something I never thought I'd see," he remarked, his eyes meeting Eliza's with warmth. "People can surprise you," Eliza replied, her fingers interlaced with his as he pulled her close. On the night of the charity auction, Westlake Academy sparkled with lights and laughter. Cassandra, elegant in a simple black dress, directed volunteers with newfound humility. Eliza and Lucas moved through the crowd hand in hand, stopping occasionally for quick stolen kisses in quiet corners. "I'm proud of you," Lucas whispered against her ear, his arms wrapped around her from behind as they watched the auction's success unfold. Not everyone would have given Cassandra a second chance. Eliza turned in his embrace, her hazel eyes meeting his brown ones. Everyone deserves the chance to rewrite their story. As the evening ended, Principal Mitchell found her daughter slow dancing with Lucas under twinkling lights, his hands respectfully placed on her waist, her arms around his neck, their bodies swaying to the gentle music. Nearby, Cassandra stood with new friends, not followers but genuine peers who appreciated her authentic self. Victoria smiled, watching the scene unfold. Sometimes the greatest lessons weren't found in textbooks but in the hallways of high school, where young hearts and minds learned that true strength came not from tearing others down, but from lifting them up, even those who once sought to destroy you. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Sonnet 3.7